Hello, my name is Blake Furman and I'm the founder of Veterans Navigation Network. Today I'm going to be joined by retired Navy veteran Eric Brown, who's here to discuss the upcoming 9/11 Memorial and Remembrance ceremony at City College here in Billings. Navy vet Eric Brown has been one of ENN's volunteers and donors for about 3 years, and he's the school certifying official at MSUB Billings Military and Veteran Success Center. September 11th marks the 24th anniversary of the deadliest terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and Eric has more on how our community will honor the fallen, including 441 first responders.
Thank you, Blake. On September 11th, 2001, 2,977 innocent people died in 4 separate attacks. At the World Trade Center and Pentagon, 441 first responders lost their lives in the line of duty. They include 303 firefighters, 71 law enforcement personnel, 8 paramedics, and 55 service members. Since then, more than 5,000 other people have died from cancers and illnesses stemming from toxic exposure at the sites of those terrorist attacks. We have not forgotten. On Thursday, September 11th at 8:46 a.m., MSU Billings will be hosting a salute to first responders at City College. The event is free and everyone is welcome to attend. Our ceremony will take place at the 9/11 Memorial on campus in front of a 600-pound piece of steel I-beam that was salvaged from the World Trade Center and hauled to Billings in 2011. Many of our students at MSU Billings and City College were born after 2001 and do not have the firsthand knowledge of that tragic day in American history. It is this younger generation we are hoping to reach with this annual remembrance, and we strongly encourage them to attend. While we are commemorating a horrific day in American history more than 20 years ago, we are also focusing on some very specific life lessons to guide us in the future. These are remember, reflect, educate, and dedicate.
So Eric, could you tell us what some of the highlights will be to salute those first responders?
Yes, the ceremony will begin at 8:46 a.m., the exact time American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the World Trade Center's North Tower. Opening remarks will be made by MSU Billings Chancellor Stephanie Hickswaw, and our guest speaker is Billings Fire Marshal Matt Hopple. Matt has been involved with emergency services here and around Billings since 1991 and serves on the board of directors for the Montana Fire Chiefs Association. Other prominent supporters on site will be representatives from Montana's congressional delegations, Billings Fire Department, Billings Police Department, the Yellowstone County Sheriff's Office, and others.
So a few minutes ago you said that the purpose of this ceremony wasn't just to honor the fallen and pay tribute to America's first responders, but to also share some important life lessons. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, those are remember, reflect, educate, and dedicate. I'm going to read them to you directly from the ceremony program. Remember that 9/11 changed America in the course of our history forever and made us more aware of our responsibilities as citizens. Reflect on how communities can come together in time of need and how everyday heroes emerge when called upon. Educate by providing venues for making sense of complex questions and current issues. Be reminded that such events unify us and help us transcend differences of race, religion, social status, and political affiliation. Oneself to inspiring others to value citizenship and civic engagement. Memories can be honored through service to others.
VNN's primarily here to support military and veterans, but many of those people have worked as first responders, whether that was in the service or whether it was after they got out and pursued that as civilians. For example, Mike Foose, who's our justice-involved veteran coordinator, he was retired law enforcement and served a number of years in the military prior to that, and so we really want to be able to serve those first responders, especially when they've had that double life of service, whether that was in the military and then first responder or vice versa. Really just trying to make sure that they're connected to the care that they've earned through their military service, the benefits and things that they've received, as well as getting care if they ever have post-traumatic stress disorder or any kind of injury sustained while they were in service to our country and to our communities.
First responders are those trained professionals in our communities who provide emergency services to the public and include firefighters, law enforcement, paramedics, and search and rescue personnel. So a moment ago I spoke about dedication. This dedication can include volunteering and donating to local organizations or choosing to be a first responder as a profession. City College, where our ceremony will be held on September 11th, offers 2 degree programs for future first responders. One is an associate in science and fire science and an associate in applied science as a paramedic. Both programs take about 2 years to complete and are fully accredited and will prepare students for careers as first responders.
Yeah, so VNN is primarily here to support those military and veterans, but many of those people have served as first responders, whether it was before they went into the military, whether it was after, and they may have pursued it later in life as a civilian. For example, Mike Foose, who's our Justice Involved Veteran Coordinator, he goes into the jail and meets with those veterans who are incarcerated, tries to advocate for them to get them treatment rather than jail time. When that's not possible, he does like a reentry program to make sure that when they do get out of the justice system that they get back, become productive members of society, and rather than re-entering the jail, re-entering the justice system. And Mike actually has a background. He's served over 20 years in law enforcement, everything from a canine trainer to a detective in violent crimes. And so he's got that background as well. And we know from that a lot of not only veterans suffer from PTSD and some of those different things that can come with experiencing traumatic events over and over again, but our law enforcement, our first responders who respond to those calls like 9/11 or even car accidents and everything in between, a lot of them can suffer from those conditions as well. And so we really want to make sure through him and through the work we do at VNN that those veterans who later become first responders, that they all are getting taken care of, whether that's treatment for PTSD, whether that's connected to the benefits they've earned, or just that they're taken care of so that they're able to do their job, continue that life of service after the military and when they become first responders. Before we go, Eric, can you tell us again about the ceremony at City College on Wednesday, September 11th?
Yes. So guests should arrive at City College no later than 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, September 11th, and park between the medical and technology buildings. The ceremony will begin at 8:46 a.m. In front of the 9/11 memorial. Our guest speaker will be Billings Fire Chief Matt Hopple, who will honor America's heroes, past, present, and future. Again, the salute to first responders is free, and everyone is invited. We said we would never forget, and 24 years later, we have not forgotten.
Yeah, that is for sure. Well, I appreciate you bringing this to us, Eric. I appreciate you sharing the ceremony with our viewers, with those who live in our community. Another thing that a lot of these first responders can face, a lot of our veterans face, are challenges with suicide. Right now, Montana is #1 for veteran suicide in the country, which is a placeholder we'd never ever want to be at again. But unfortunately, we've been in the top 3 for the last several decades. And so one thing I'm excited to announce, and I think it's fitting to do with this memorial because of how much trauma there is around 9/11 and how much service these people have made, is we're launching actually a suicide prevention training for civilians, veterans, and medical providers. That is an online training. It doesn't take a ton of time, but it is some evidence-based and proven training to really identify, intervene, and get people connected to help and resources that can really help them, move past whatever kind of thoughts are leading them to thinking suicide is the only option. So we've got 3 tracks, as I mentioned. One is going to be civilian, and that has really got basically this methodology called VA Saves, in which veterans or civilians, anybody can really use this, but it's really identifying that somebody is having those thoughts of suicide, and then persuading them, obviously, not to go through it, but then connecting them to resources that can keep them from really the crisis that they might be in. It can, whether that's housing, whether it's a relationship issue, whatever it might be that has them to that point of crisis, helping them identify somebody who can help in that situation and move past that crisis. The other thing that comes with that civilian track is around military culture, and a lot of that can transfer over to the first responders, but it's kind of the culture of what does it mean to be a veteran? What do veterans really want you to know as a civilian when you're talking to them about their service? Some of the questions not to ask them or talk to them about their service And it really is a beneficial training. And what we've also provided and will be provided for those who take that course is a list of resources for them to identify and then refer those veterans to. There is going to be a veteran track too, which, veterans obviously don't need the cultural training about their own culture, and so they really will just have that kind of the VA Saves training, but also how to share their story as a peer. And it will just give them some tools about how to share their story with other veterans and, really make a difference in the life of their fellow vets. The last track, and one that we're really excited about, is for providers, and whether that's behavioral health or physical health providers, it's all for healthcare providers, and it includes what we've already talked about, but it also has training around having those conversations around lethal means, such as firearms, with veterans. Veterans typically really like firearms and are around them or trained to use them, and we love that. But because of that familiarity with firearms, it's oftentimes the number one used method for a veteran to take their own life. And so really it's a way to have a conversation with those veterans about firearms in a meaningful, impactful way with some knowledge about firearms, and it trains the providers on how to do that. The other thing that is very common and prevalent in the veteran community, unfortunately, because of all the trauma, such as, the deployments and things since 9/11 that have happened, is substance use and behavioral health issues. And so because of that, the training also focuses on why that's more prevalent in the veteran community and educates providers about that, but also how to address those issues with those providers. And so at the end of the training, providers will actually be able to get up to 5 CMEs for completing those trainings. And we're just really excited that we can provide that training in partnership with Psych Armor to not only the civilians in Montana, but the veterans as well as the providers. So I think it's very fitting to bring that to our state and actually do something about this crisis that we're in. So I want to thank you again for telling us about the event on September 11th. And we're really excited to attend, to remember those who give the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and we'll see you there.
Thank you, Blake.